Good reason to bring my phone that I never do. Okay. Are we ready in the back, Debbie?
You are now.
Okay. Jane, are we ready in the front? Okay. Colleagues. Phew. All right. Well, then, good morning. Today is Wednesday, October 1st, 2025, and we'd like to welcome everyone to the board meeting. We'll call this meeting to order at 9:04 a.m. The teleconference number is 1-971-254-3149. Conference ID 866-914-607#. Audio capabilities are listen only and are offered on a best effort for the public. Our meeting is also live streamed, and you can join us online by going to our website. Other viewing options are available at tctvonline.com. Before we get started, I'd like to remind everyone to mute their phone. You can do this by pressing *6. Please unmute your phone when your agenda item is ready to be discussed. For those joining via computer, please unmute your microphone and turn on your camera when your agenda item is called. All others must remain muted with their cameras turned off. Thank you. Public comment. Those intending to provide public comment to the board may attend in person or email submissions to the public comments email on our website. Public comments received by 12 p.m. on Tuesday will be distributed to the board, posted online before the meeting, and become part of the public record. You may also provide public comment virtually by registering ahead of time. To register, please email public comments by 12 p.m. on the Tuesday prior to the board meeting. Public comments can also be mailed to the Board of Commissioners Office, 201 Laurel Avenue, Tillamook, Oregon, 97141. For more information on public comment options, please visit the Board of Commissioners webpage. Do we have anyone signed up in the room or registered online for public comment? Okay, no public comment today. Wonderful. Well, I would like to welcome everyone who's with us in the room and request them to sign the guest list, please, if they have not. And we will start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Commissioner Bell, if you would please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. No public comments, no non-agenda items. We will jump right into our published agenda with presentations and reports. We have employee recognition for October 2025 with continuous years of service. Kelly Fulton, HR, with us this morning. Good morning, Kelly.
Good morning. All right, it is that time to recognize the county employees having anniversaries this month and thank them for their continued service. Our county team is made up of many great individuals, and here are the people we celebrate in October. All right. Our assessor, Cassandra Larson, has been here 23 years. Anna Delia Aguilar in Health Department, 20 years. Josh Brown, Sheriff, 20 years. Rhonda Silvera, Sheriff, 18 years. Ani Seaholm, Community Corrections, 17 years. Sarisa Albertson, Health Department, 17 years. Jean Henderson, Parks, 12 years. Patricia Dannon, Health Department, 10 years. Kevin Jolly, Facilities, 9 years. Karen Kronoff, Sheriff, 9 years. Elizabeth Denton, Library, 9 years. Dr. Lisa Steffi, Health Department, 9 years. Sandra Golan, in the Assessor's Office, 8 years. Samuel Cummings, Sheriff, 7 years. Colin Kearney, Library, 5 years. Intermission for the next column. Tim Weber, Sheriff, 5 years. Mark Weir, Sheriff, 4 years. Chris Wood, Sheriff, 4 years. Lynn Tone, Community Development, 4 years. Marsha Hogendijk, Treasurer, 4 years. Julie Silvera, Community Development, 4 years. Corey Estrella, Health Department, 4 years. Maya Vance Baybrock, Health Department, 3 years. Tori Williams, Solid Waste, 3 years. Josie Woods, Assessor's Office, 3 years. Garrett Knopfsinger, Juvenile Department, 3 years. Tabitha Knopfsinger, Health, 3 years. Stacy Kimmel, Health, 1 year, Jason Rubio, Public Works, 1 year, and Julie Hopkins at the Health Department at 1 year. Thank
Wow.
you all.
Yes, thank you, Kelly. That is quite a list. We've been very actively hiring in this month throughout the years.
Yes. Yes.
Excellent. Commissioners' comments?
I love this recognition, and it's just a terrific list. It gives us the opportunity to reflect, and for example, I'm thinking about the fact that there are 2 elected officials on this list: Cassandra Larson, our assessor, and Josh Brown, our sheriff, and the fact that they didn't start as elected officials. You know, they started here a long time ago, 20 years ago and 23 years ago, and worked their way up through the ranks, learned their jobs, and worked their way into the top position where they were electable. And so, you know, now there are elected leaders, which I really appreciate. There are 3 people here with long-term service in the sheriff's office. That is the sheriff himself, of course, and Rhonda Silvera and Lieutenant Ani Steenholm, who, you know, it makes such a big difference to have long-term experienced professional leadership. It makes such a big difference. I was thinking about Gene Henderson because I worked with him while I was the interim parks director. He has 12 years, and he's the longest serving member in that department. So he has all kinds of institutional history and really valuable skill. And, you know, I could talk about a lot of these people, but we're really very lucky to have such an amazing workforce.
Thank you.
I couldn't say it better. That's fantastic. I do appreciate these as well, and it is fun to see. Like you said, the 2 electeds on there, and actually Tim Weber too. He's been 5 years since coming back.
Okay.
I think he has 25 years in before that. So it's just interesting. It's a great. I think it's great for people that might want to work for us to show that there's a lot of people that stay.
Yeah.
And it's a great place to work and move up through the ranks and improve your career. So yeah, I love these. Thanks. I couldn't say it better.
Excellent. Well, I agree with my colleagues, and it's really fun to see the list and recognize names and people that I've worked with for a long time, whether, you know, in the community. So great job, everyone. Thank you for what you do. Tillamook County does not make widgets. We provide services to the public, and we only do that through the staff that work for us. So thank you so much for being the face of Tillamook County.
Absolutely.
All right. Thank you, Kelly. Appreciate that.
Thanks, Kelly.
Okay, we will jump into the legislative administrative agenda with consideration of a draft 26-27 local mental health authority behavioral health plan and budget by Frank Hanna Williams, Executive Director, Tillamook Family Counseling. Good morning, Frank.
Good morning, everyone.
Morning, Frank.
What I what I have submitted to you, what we can talk briefly about today is that over the last couple of months we have a task, and the task is to be able to. We've been asked by the Oregon Health Authority to pull together what would be a local plan for the 26-27 18-month period of time. We're currently, just a little bit of background, we currently are funded for the first 6 months of this biennium, if you will, which in many ways is not the way we usually would get funded. It would usually be for a 2-year period of time, but there are some issues and some challenges in how county systems and the state are looking at the ways in which services get funded and the language that is in an agreement around expectations and what might be a responsibility of a county versus a shared responsibility between county and state. So there's some contention. I'm just gonna say there's some there, and this piece of this is to be able to do a couple things. Number one, to give a high level glance at how things are in Tillamook County versus Union County or versus Wallowa County, and to also to have a high level look at what are the partnerships like in the counties that relate to the services that get provided. And, and as you can see from the questions, there's a lot of information about those kinds of relationships. And so that really takes up a good bit of what the what is being required. And as I said, as I say, it is a draft. Since I submitted the information to you, I've gone over this several times, and I've already made some change. Already made some changes. Later today, I will press the button, and it will go to OHA this afternoon. It is also understood to be a draft on OHA's part. So over the next month, the OHA will review everybody's draft. And I don't know if I'd call it a scoring table, but they'll be looking for certain things, and there may also be seeking some clarification about some things. Everybody's done theirs a bit differently. We've kind of communicated with each other on occasion about how'd you do yours, some counties did theirs, and a couple of large counties did it very, very quickly. Submitted things and wanted to be a resource to other counties in terms of how they did things. So anyway, as I said, high level glance, and then a little lower level glance at local partnerships, and then to be able to have something in which we were to be able to show to you that we got some information from our partners here in the community. We had some key informant sessions and pulled together some information, decided to land on some things that we would be looking to be able to do early in the year. But there's also a sense here that things can change during the course of the 18 months. And the things that we say we're going to focus on, it doesn't mean that those are the only things we're going to focus on for the year. So as you can see, we spent a good bit of time talking about unmet service needs. We identified some areas and concerns around services to kids and families. I want to thank the people who were part of being the key informants. They were very engaged, very interested, and were very helpful in their perspectives about specifically. I give an example, some concerns about schools and kids in the classroom. And we've been concerns that, for instance, that law enforcement would have to be able to respond around some areas where kids were there were problems. There were problems and concerns. We have identified that as an area that we want to work with our partners, beef up. During the last biennium, we took a pause on some services that need to be provided in the school, and because we had some staffing challenges, we're now in a position to be able to re-engage with that. And so we want to be able to provide as much support as possible with the 3 school systems and work in partnership with them. So that is one of the areas that I listed in the unmet needs that you got a chance to see. The other I would say is something that the key informants all highlighted, and that is, it was a common theme, which was that we need to have good information about the things that we're doing in the community, and there were some things that came to our attention that I don't think we specifically. Sometimes we take for granted the information that we get about the things we do. Sometimes we kind of consider that this is a small community, and we can pick up the phone and we can talk to another person about something. It doesn't always happen, and it doesn't. And sometimes it doesn't happen. And it doesn't happen in a big community, but it definitely does not sometimes happen. We don't know about what our partners are doing, and so everybody in the all of the key informants said, let's beef up a process by which, if there are behavioral health concerns that are being addressed by agency A that overlap with agency B, let's talk about it, and we can do better. And I think that in addition to the things that I mentioned about school settings, that was also an issue. Um, a couple of other points. There was a lot of discussion about peer support services. And some of the feedback from the informants was, can we just get that by itself? And we're not interested in anything else you provide, but we're interested in that. Yeah, that's not exactly the way we have. There are some ways we have to do that. And so I think and we can't do it alone. And we can't do it alone. We can't provide that service alone. That's not just what you get. And I think there are some things we can do, and I think probably to encourage some dialogue between our partners, so that we're all so that information is out there that's equal. I think those are some things we can do. So I mentioned the common theme about the communication. I mentioned the common theme about the school intervention, peer support specialists, and the other thing that came out is that clearly people want to be people prefer to be served in person. And while telehealth addresses some challenges, and I'm not so sure if telehealth is ever going to go away. There's going to be some level of telehealth, and whether it's behavioral health or dermatology, there's going to be some level of telehealth. I don't think it's going to go away, and I don't think it's going to go away in the behavioral health realm. I think what we strive to do is to be able to have some balance. And it looks like we gotta, at the moment, we're working with a balance. The number of telehealth providers we have is kind of, it's in the same range, but we want to have 2 times as many people who are providing service in person as we do telehealth providers. And that's what we're striving. It's like 2/3, 1/3. I think that is the reality of how things are, and certainly the reality of how things are in a community that has workforce challenges. So I could probably go on, but I won't. And still working on refining the plan, and there's a budget part of the plan, and the OHA wants to see not only what we get from them, but from some other components. The agency's budget has grown over the time that I've been here. We serve more people and we have more staff, and it should have grown. So that's I think that's what I want to present to you today. And if you have any questions, I will do my best to answer them and move forward.
Perfect. Thank you, Frank. The conversations with OHA at the state level have been numerous and gone over many years, and this plan is an interesting sort of step they've taken to try to have the contract negotiations go through, I think. So they're working with this plan, which is great. I think it's good for our community to have a plan. I think it gives us all a touch point and a place to go and see what is happening, how the partners are working together. I love that aspect of it because we do. There are behavioral health services provided not only through Tillamook Family Counseling, but through all of our partners. So I think that's great. I'm excited about the key informant work that you did and the priorities that are coming forward from that key informant work. I think that's part of what our community definitely wants to know is are we hearing them and are we responding to them? And I think that's one of the things that's separate from what OHA is trying to do with this plan, something that is really beneficial to our community that will come from this plan. So thank you for the work that you all did to put it together. I know that it was sort of a short timeline, driven again with the OHA process, but I think it sounds like it was also a useful process within our own community, which is what you always hope for when you're required to do something by the state. You hope that there is also a side of it that actually does some good for our community, and it sounds like that's happening. So that's good
Yeah,
news.
I think that was helpful.
Yeah.
And I think that was helpful, and I think we're trying to figure out some way, how can we keep this going?
Yeah.
How can we keep this part of what we're doing? Can we fold it into our, entities always want to have some level of input about satisfaction.
Yeah.
And is it, can we have this kind of a process in which we say, what did we do right? And what can we improve on? And what did we miss the target on? And have that be okay. Have that be an okay and a helpful conversation. So.
Thank you.
Yep.
Commissioners, questions and comments?
I really appreciate this body of work, Frank. This was a heavy lift, and like Aaron, I'm so glad that it was worthwhile to you, and it sounds like it was very meaningful. And I appreciate the opportunity for expanded communication with partners and for people to offer feedback. And it sounds altogether positive, and I really appreciate the effort. So thank you.
I concur with both of yours. I do have a question. Is this the first time the plan like this has been?
It's interesting because the last time it's never been quite this involved. It hasn't been quite this level, and there used to be a biennial plan, and the last time there was a biennial plan was the 2013-15 biennium. Okay, I remember it, which, there was a bit of a process around it, but it wasn't really, so this is really, this is bringing forth something that's loosely in statute and really is pushed forward. I would see this is probably going to happen, just moving forward every biennium.
And I was going to ask that too. Were the questions created by OHA? Did you just respond to them?
The questions were created by OHA.
I would say to anybody interested, this was a good document. It is really informative. I really appreciated it. Seeing it on paper, getting some questions that I've had and things that I've wondered about kind of answered here.
Mm-hmm.
And I would concur with them. I think we're trying to do that in our own business here of less siloing and more of us all working together when our jobs overlap. And I think that's how we serve the community better, is when we stop working isolated and we start working together, because we're duplicating services, and with money being cut short, maybe there's some solutions that can be found there. So I appreciate this.
You raise a good point.
I can't imagine this was easy, and but I think it was valuable. I'm glad that it's done. It looks great to me. I went through it, the whole thing, and very helpful to me.
What I also could do is to send you the list of the questions in that format.
Sure.
It looks a little different. I could send you that.
I just think, like, again, it goes to the point when money's getting less.
Yep.
And that overlap, we have to start working together so we can accomplish the same services, but we're gonna have to do it with less money. So anyway, thank you.
Thanks.
Excellent. Well, and I will point out at the state level, they had there have been a bunch of bills that have come forward that have said, hey, state of Oregon, if you're going to require all of these mental health services specific and behavioral health services specifically, you need to do a cost study and you need to figure out exactly what it's going to really cost to offer them, similar to the community corrections
Mhm.
study that they do every few years. And it's been a struggle to try to get the state to agree to do that cost study. And certainly that cost study wouldn't guarantee they would fund it, but it would be a really interesting piece of data to have, just as it is for
Mhm.
community corrections. Community corrections, we know exactly what it would cost to do what the state is mandating us to do, and they never give us that much. And it gives us this talking point, this shared narrative, the ability to go and really work hard at that. We've been trying to get there, I believe, with the behavioral health stuff as well, and really struggled to get the state to kind of say, yeah, we agree, we'll fund that sort of.
Well, that is ostensibly what you have shared there is that 4092, which was everybody had to take it took months to collect the data. I haven't seen anything yet, but I know they're working on it because every time we completed something and maybe got something in the wrong box, we got a call. We got a call. This is what's needed. So
Yeah.
every county behavioral health program participated in that. So
Good.
I'm hoping that gives
Let's hope
that
that
kind
that's
of
useful.
it was very involved, very detailed.
Yeah, because I think it's important, more and more, and we talk about it all the time, and I'll always take the opportunity to talk about it. The mandated services from the state of Oregon to their partners, the counties, are often not funded at the level at which they mandate us to do work. And in this case, we contract with Tillamook Family Counseling for our mandated work in this arena, right? So we want to make sure that if they're going to hold us, therefore us holding Tillamook Family Counseling accountable to providing a certain level of service, that they're funding it, right? I mean, so it's just another one of those pieces. So yeah, just
I was going to say that I have a funny feeling we're going to be talking about that a lot in 2026.
I
find myself speaking about unfunded mandates all the time, so I'm glad this kind of work is being done. I do have a question. Is this kind of like a competition? Like, are other counties fighting for this, or is no?
This is
Like fighting for a certain pool of money, and we have to prove.
this isn't no.
Okay, good. Because I agree with this, is identifying all the work that we as a county do, and you do as a contracted service for the county. It's everywhere. This unfunded mandate. I want to get a T-shirt that says "No more unfunded mandates," because that I just keep running into that wall. Every discussion we have, the RVs, everything we can think of, we run into this problem, and I think this is going to be the theme of 2026. If I'm being honest.
I think that it will, and in my AOC presidential year, my initiative is around county revenues, and certainly a part of that is around what is that the state has mandated us to do and does not provide adequate revenue to do that, and our property tax-based revenue also does not provide adequate. When you put those two together, there are still big holes, and the state, we need to put it together as counties into a narrative in a way that we can have these conversations with the state in a broader way. So we will be having them here because we're doing our own budget work here as the county, and then I will be carrying that as well at a statewide level to say this isn't just about us. And I appreciate, like I said, the bill 4092 that is, it's unfortunately forcing more work for you all to document all of that, but those are numbers we need. Yeah.
That's important.
Yeah, it is. Those are numbers we need in order to really have these conversations with the state and say, you want what you want, and we all agree that the things that you want are good, same as we do with community corrections, right? We agree that we want what the state wants, but we can't offer it free of charge. So, this conversation is building and will continue to build as revenues just frankly get tighter and tighter. So. Yeah. Thank you, Frank. I appreciate that.
Thank you,
Any
Frank.
other questions for Frank? Because we do need to approve this in order for him to push the button as he let us know he would do this afternoon.
I have nothing.
Okay, then I think we're ready for a motion.
Madam Chair, I move approval of a draft 2026-2027 Local Mental Health Authority Behavioral Health Plan and Budget.
I second that.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, I will call for the vote. All in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye.
Right.
Aye. Motion carries. Thank you, Frank.
Frank.
Push that button.
Push the button.
All right. Moving on to item 7, consideration of a resolution in the matter of authorizing a budget transfer in the adopted fiscal year 25-26 budget. We have Sean Blanchard, our treasurer and budget officer. Good morning, Sean.
Good morning, Madam Chair. Commissioners, before you is a resolution to adopt a transfer from transient lodging tax to reimburse the sheriff, criminal jail, and community correction side for their overtime at the 2025 Tillamook County Fair.
All right, thank you. Questions or comments, commissioners?
I don't have any.
No, I think this was a great idea. I thank whoever came up with it because it completely made sense that that is work of the county directly related to a tourism facility and to tourists. So I think it's terrific.
But
I was waiting for you to talk about TLT a little bit more, and it's expanded.
Well done, Paul. Full credit, Paul.
It's one of those crazy ideas. One of those crazy ideas we start with, and then we go, "Wow, it's not so crazy after all."
no, I think it's a great idea. This is what TLT should be used for, stuff like this, where we can improve, pay for the services that we're providing, and the money comes from those who are benefiting from it as well. So
Thank you. I agree. With that, I think we're ready for a motion. Couldn't let you sit silent.
Madam Chair, I move approval of resolution R25-016 in the matter of authorizing a budget transfer in the adopted fiscal year 2025-2026 budget.
I second that.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, I will call for the vote. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Motion carries. Thank you,
Sean.
Sean. Okay, moving on to item number 8, consideration of a letter to the Federal Emergency Management Agency regarding the draft environmental impact statement and draft Oregon implementation plan for the National Flood Insurance Program Environmental Assessment Integration. Sarah Absher, Director, Department of Community Development. Good morning, Sarah.
Good morning, Commissioners. Thank you. Yes, couple of things first. I want to thank FEMA representatives for joining us this morning on our meeting to listen into this conversation, and also to thank them for hosting that very informative meeting last night and giving us a lot of leeway for participation and making sure folks in the room were taken care of throughout the meeting. I thought it was a very good meeting. Before you is a letter that has been drafted in response to the draft environmental impact statement and implementation plan. FEMA's public comment period ends October 6th. Molly Lawrence, our attorney representing us from Van Ness Feldman, and myself have put this letter together for your consideration. It remains in draft form because, as you can see, we have a few citations left to put in, but substantively, it is there. Council has also had an opportunity to review the letter. And so our ask today is that you approve this letter in draft form so that we have an opportunity to complete the citations, and then I will provide it to Debbie Garland so that it can go on letterhead with your signature. I will also be submitting a letter regarding specifically the information in Appendix F, which is the county and city data. Like many other cities and counties, we have also noticed some inaccuracies. That includes population data, number of housing units, etc. As a cooperating agency, we were part of the socioeconomic scoping phase of the draft EIS. And we did work with the assessor's office to obtain data that talked about how many acres are in our mapped areas of special flood hazard, et cetera. So I am going through that information now with that table so that we can make sure that information that we provide back to FEMA, that we are certain that we've identified all of those inaccuracies, which is really important for the socioeconomic impact portion of the draft EIS. The letter before you, we have worked very hard to produce a thorough, thoughtful letter for FEMA's consideration. It touches on some of our legal concerns, the social and economic concerns, community concerns, and then just some practical concerns as well. Happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you, Sarah. Questions, commissioners? Comments?
Me? I found one typo, I'll tell you about it later.
Thank you.
That's amazing, one typo. That's so,
Pages.
um, I appreciate this. I thought it was really well written. I think it was touched upon the whole thing. The one thing I wish was said more about was how Tillamook County is already responding to the ESA concerns and but I understand that also FEMA's not interested in that based on their guidelines. Like that's not something they want to address. So it's just a personal opinion. And if I'm saying it now is that in addition to all the concerns in here, which I appreciate the way it's laid out, it's a very good argument.
Thank you.
I just wish that we also would, talk about the fact that one, as we spoke of last night, it's a very old study that 10-year-old study that we're using to guide us, which is insane, in my opinion. Second of all, I'm going fishing this week, and I can keep a native coho in our 3 estuaries up to 3. So I mean, I think that alone stands as a sign that we are doing the right thing by our endangered species in our rivers. I also reviewed in preparation of my personal written comments that I'll be providing is a recent NOAA report, 2023, I think, that basically said the same thing, that the coast salmon recovery is in the right direction. It's very, towards delisting. And not one in that large report from NOAA did it say anything about if we did less development in those, or if we restrained development in the floodplain, we would increase our chances. It wasn't even brought up as an issue for them. They just basically said the habitat restoration that is occurring now, especially within the North Coast, and Tillamook County is a huge part of that, with the Salmon Superhighway and all the work that we're doing with culverts and everything. All of that was discussed as reasons why the numbers are rebounding and that we're allowed to actually take and keep native coho. So I wish that it's really mind-boggling as a former investigator. You're supposed to review all the facts to make a determination. And I feel like this is a very myopic view of the facts that fits their needs rather than the needs of the community. And it's insulting to the people that have done all the work before me. I mean, I'm new at this and understanding this. I'm a fisherman, and so I want to have a good fishery and a good clean water and all that. So I just want to say this is a great letter, and I understand why what I'm saying is not in it, but maybe it could be. But I think again, when you have one federal agency saying, "You guys are doing great," and don't mention anything about, "Well, we don't want you putting gravel in the parking lot because that's going to affect it." It doesn't say anything about that. We spoke about that side. The repaving subway parking lot is not going to kill any fish, and that's the reality. So I know this is a long process, and I know that I don't think they would even listen to me, but that's going to be part of my public comment. So I just, again, appreciate the work. It makes me feel proud that we're taking the stand we're doing. And as an elected official, go to Oregonian, what's it, floodplains?
Oregonians for floodplain protection.
Oregonians for floodplain protections and consider making a donation so we can help with our lawsuit. Because that is also occurring on a separate or parallel track. Thank you. Yep. Parallel track. So the public knows that because I've been asked that question. What happened with the lawsuit? Lawsuit's still occurring. So that is still here, and they could definitely use some money for that. And this is this part. We're doing whatever we have to do to fight this on all fronts, and we're going to continue doing that. And we are completely united as a board that we don't like being bullied by FEMA, and we feel that way. Our community feels that way, and this will be so destructive to our community. So thank you again. Sorry to take up so much time.
Nope, that's great.
Thank you. I appreciate your comments, Paul, and I appreciate this letter. It's excellent. It's very good. I feel I'm not volunteering to read it because it's very long, but I look forward to it in its final form being posted so that we can share it with the public.
Thank you.
And I think our community should read it. And as someone who loves to fish, I completely agree with Paul that the coho have made a tremendous rebound. And it's, I live in North County, very close to the Nehalem. I fish in the Nehalem in the fall. And when they come in, the wild coho are popping in the river like popcorn. It is fun. It's so much fun. There are so many fish. And it's thrilling that run is recovering. And because, not accidentally, but because of the work that's been done. And so I think something that I don't hear enough emphasis on, and I'm not talking about in the letter, but I'm talking about in this whole fight, is the fact that our community cares deeply about the fish. We care deeply about clean water, fish habitat, fish recovery. We care deeply about it, and we've been working on it and investing in it for a long time, successfully, with good outcomes. So I agree that it's insane that that isn't taken into consideration. So,
Thank you.
I
bravo.
think you can hear a little anger on our part, a little frustration maybe on this board's
For
part.
sure. Yeah, and I share the thoughts of both of my colleagues. I mean, I think they said it well, the fact that we have a super strong fishery here and that we have done the work and that has no bearing on this, that the biological opinion used, and this was a great letter. I learned things in this letter. When the explanation for how the analysis of the um, the flood insurance program impacts was done at really looking, and it says that the flood insurance program causes the fish will cause the fish to go extinct because it allows this huge amount of development in the floodplain that takes away this huge amount of fish habitat and floodplain and all of that. But my understanding from this letter is they looked at all development in the floodplain ever, not development that was started after the NFIP, not development that was actually made possible by the NFIP, but all development ever. Well, that's a completely false basis upon which to make your analysis of the impacts of the NFIP, which is what this is supposed to be about. So that like clicked for me from reading this letter in a way that I had not understood before. What is the actual, for me, the crux of what makes that biological opinion so flawed? And why absolutely it should be relooked at and looked at with the data you talked about, from NOAA. We all know it as fisher people because we're all anglers and we all do this. We know the fish are there. NOAA knows the fish are there, right? So yeah, it's very, very infuriating. And so Tilda, Chadwick Jones made her comment last night at the FEMA meeting, and her comment is my comment, which is this EIS creates a um, false decision for all of us because this EIS has two options really. One of them is do nothing, which doesn't meet FEMA's need to respond to a court, which means it's not going to be an acceptable answer, or you significantly impact all communities, all economics, all people that live here, while the fish get an exceptional benefit that we don't even know that it's going to actually help them, right? So it's a false choice. There should not be only two, that either people win it all or fish win it all. That's a false choice. And Tilda said this very passionately last night, and I was like, yes, that's my personal thing as well, is they could have designed something in the middle. They could have had something that created some impacts for our communities and our economies and our people and created some benefit for the fish. There are many, many options that fall in that middle ground, and they're reasonable, prudent and reasonable alternatives are neither prudent nor reasonable. And to me, and I understand that that's not what they want to hear.
Not even possible.
No, I mean, yes,
Right, yeah.
yeah, and I realize this is exactly the letter that we need to send because this is the one that dives into the legal
Hypocrisy,
ramifications.
hypocrisy of them. They're saying
Yeah.
we would never do something that is so unreasonable and impractical. Yet we want to do something unreasonable and
Reasonable and
impractical.
impractical, yeah. So this letter is perfect, and my personal comments will probably be along the lines of Tilda's, which is just that this is an absolute false choice. There is no way that there's a reasonable or a prudent alternative presented, and if that is the basis upon which an EIS is supposed to be, a program is supposed to be crafted to be evaluated by an EIS, we're not there. We are so far from there. So that is part of why this lawsuit is on a parallel track, because this is a government process from the federal government. The wheels are turning. It's going to do what it does. And I hesitate to hold out much hope that FEMA is going to actually do anything with our comments, but it doesn't mean we shouldn't make them. And it means that our lawsuit is stronger for the comments we make. So if you haven't yet made your comment on the biological opinion, you're watching us today, we have until October 6th. There's a link on the county's main webpage that says biological opinion.
That's
Click
right
on
there.
that. It's right there on our,
TomoCounty.gov.
yes, tomacounty.gov, main page, big letters, biological opinion. Click on that. It will take you to another page, which has a link for, where on the community development page. You click on that and it opens up all your pieces you need to make your comment online. You can do it through an email. You can do it through a letter. There's a virtual room if you want to learn more before you comment. But at the end of the day, they are required to tally and respond to every comment that comes in, so please make them do their work. And when we continue the lawsuit, as we expect we are going to have to do, it is strength for us to show how our communities feel and make sure that we have every conceivable argument covered, because you may say something that is an aha moment for us as well. We need your thoughts. So please make your comments. We appreciate that. Okay.
One more thing.
Yeah.
I just also want to say a couple of things. One of the things is I appreciate all the work. If you go to the webpage and look and it clicks to her page, to the community development page, it also has the presentation here, which is great. This is confusing for a lot, or they think it's confusing, because it is. Even when you hear all the things, but ultimately, there's a lot of information that I think simplifies. I think your presentation does that. I want to thank your staff for helping last night. We had this. The turnout wasn't great in person, but it was so important that we provided that, and to have all your staff there into the evening. To provide assistance for public comments. Within the material on our webpage, there's also some sample letters, so you don't have to come up with the answers yourself. You can read and pick and choose some paragraphs and put it in your own words. But yeah, we can't stress it enough that whether or not they do anything with it, it's going to help us somewhere along the way. And at the end of the day, is we stood up for what's right, and we're fighting back.
Right. Anything else, commissioners? Hearing nothing from you, we will go ahead and entertain a motion.
Madam Chair, I move approval of a letter to the Federal Emergency Management Agency regarding the draft environmental impact statement and draft Oregon implementation plan from the National Flood Insurance Program Environmental Assessment Integration.
A big second.
I have a motion and a big second. Do I have any further discussion? Hearing none, I'm going to call for the vote. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Motion carries. Thank you, Sarah, and thank you for
Sarah.
all of your work on this over all of the years, and I know we're not done yet. So this is a full-time job in addition to your regular full-time job. So thank you for that. We appreciate it. You are the recognized expert on the biological opinion across the state of Oregon, probably across the nation, and we're very fortunate to have you and the work that you've done. So thank you.
Indeed. Hear,
Appreciate
hear.
it.
Yeah.
And thanks for organizing the watch party last night. I think it was very meaningful and just a great opportunity for us to support our community.
Thank you.
And one final thing I just want to say too, the big fight for this, reason why Sarah's doing this is we don't want to limit the development. We want people to develop they bought property, they've saved their whole life to buy that property to build their retirement home on, and this would stop that. And this is what we're trying to do. We're not government trying to stop you. We're trying to figure out how to make sure we can continue this. Anyway, I just want to make sure that's clear.
Right, thank you for that. Okay, thank you, Sarah. All right, we are on to board concerns. Commissioners, any other board concerns today?
I want to wish our fellow commissioner a belated happy birthday.
Thank you. There's a lot of birthdays in ours. Deb's birthday was the 28th. Yes.
Happy birthday, Deb.
Happy belated
I do know that Mary Jo from HR's birthday is today. So
No.
that's a good day.
Birthday, Mary Jo.
Yeah.
I
And
didn't know it was your birthday yesterday on the 8 o'clock meeting, where I would have wished you happy birthday on the
okay.
break.
I'm not really happy about it. I turned 57, by the way. So.
You're older than me. Oh.
Not by much. Not by much. Thank you very much.
You're
Get
welcome.
aboard.
I stayed at the FEMA meeting for some of it, and then I had to leave because it was my birthday.
Yeah,
You
well, yeah.
texted me and said,
I did. I asked the chair. I asked the
said
chair's
yes.
permission
yes.
if I could leave early.
Not that I had any, you didn't
Oh.
have to have my
I know,
permission.
but I just.
You should have had a birthday.
No, you should go. Yeah, I'm glad you went and had a birthday. That was important.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Okay. With that, then I'm going to go ahead and read our announcements. There is no board briefing scheduled for October 1st, 2025. The commissioners will attend a financial work session to hear and discuss financial reports and project updates on October 6th, 2025 at 12 p.m. The work session will be held in the Board of Commissioners Meeting Room 106, 201 Laurel Avenue, Tillamook, The teleconference number is 1-971-254-3149, conference ID 866-914-607 #. And with that, we will adjourn this meeting at 9:53 a.m.
He's gonna encourage people to go to that.
Yeah, I got my
Good,
my
you can
conversation
Me
yesterday.
too.
Yep.
That'll be right before yours.
Oh,
Debbie said, there's numbers on here, I think it's FEMA.
Oh,
And
well, it's
I
feeling
said,
good. That's what you said. I didn't hear.
Yeah, I went to my phone and I have John Graves and a few of them on my phone and
That's fantastic.
so I thought